All right, here's the last two questions from the quiz. And so again, these are both bow tie questions. So we want to draw -2 and what, -4. All right, so I'm going to go back 2 and down 4 and put a point. So there's my bow tie. Again, remember, a bow tie is always going to look like a triangle in one of the fours. So it always starts at the origin, goes out like a bow tie. If it doesn't look like a bow tie, you've drawn your triangle wrong. All right, and again, it's a good idea to get used to vectors, so negative and negative. All right, and so I want this side, so Pythagorean Theorem. So bow tie is one of our clues, Pythagorean Theorem's the other one. So I get 20. Simplify, I get what, 4 and 5. And so that's what, 2 radical 5 equals C. Now, just because you do Pythagorean Theorem, just be careful that technically this is plus or minus when you square root both sides. So you got to pay attention. Now, since this is a hypotenuse, it's always going to be positive. So we're not going to have to worry about that. But if it were one of the sides, you have to look at your quadrant and see. So here I'm negative, negative. So you got to watch that. All right, so where am I at now? All right, I want to find all the 6 trig ratios. So sine of theta, cosine of theta, tangent of theta. And then we're going to come back and do cosecant and so forth. All right, so here's my angle. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So hypotenuse. So opposite is a -4. Hypotenuse is this. Now, we can't leave our answer like that, right? So first of all, you have to reduce, you have to rationalize the denominator, all those good things. All right, so first of all, 2 goes in there twice, and then I'm going to rationalize my denominator, and I get a -2 square root of 5 all over 5, and then I leave it there. Now, notice because I had my negative signs right here, this is automatically going to be right. But again, you can look, this quadrant is negative, negative, so of course sine is negative. All right, so cotilla. So adjacent is -2. Hypotenuse is, just going to draw the arrow there, 2 radical 5. Again, same thing. These guys cancel. Radical 5, radical 5. So this time I get a negative radical 5 over 5. And again, it's negative because, again, I'm in this quadrant, so cosine and sine are both negative. But again, if you labeled your triangle with vectors, that will spit out. Tangent is opposite over adjacent, and it is a +2. And again, notice sine divided by cosine here, negative divided by negative would be positive, so that is awesome. All right, so now we want, I'm going to switch colors here. Now we want, I'll come up here, cosecant of theta. Well, I would go back to your original, and I'm going to flip that guy. So 2 radical 5 over -4. Again, that cancels, and so I end up with a negative square root of 5, and then what, a 2 in the denominator. All right, so this is my final answer for that guy. Secant is the flip of this guy, so where's my original? Right there. So I have what, a +2 radical 5 over -2. These guys cancel, so I'm just left with that, which is the negative, and then square root of 5. And then cotangent of theta, I am going to go to the original that, so I'm just going to flip that, which is -2 over -4. Those guys reduce to what, a +1/2. All right, so that's how I find sine, cosine, tangent, and then cosecant, secant, and cotangent. All right, now the last question on this quiz is also a bow tie question. All right, so again, just get used to drawing your bow tie triangle. All right, now I'm in quadrant, what does it say here? Quadrant 2. So you can go ahead and draw a bow tie. It might not be to scale, but that's okay. This is opposite over hypotenuse. So opposite is what, 5, and the hypotenuse is 13. Now some of you might remember that that's a Pythagorean triple. If not, then you're just going to go ahead and do Pythagorean Theorem. Subtract, you get 144, square root, you get 12. Now again, be careful. In the past, your teachers always said you didn't have to worry about signs when you square root both sides of a distance because it has to be positive. But technically, When you deal with vectors and stuff, not so much. You have to decide if this is positive or negative. Now again, if you draw the picture, it doesn't matter. You can look at your pictures. So this is definitely negative because you see how this vector is going to the left, which is a negative direction. All right, so what did they want me to find here? They wanted me to find cosine of alpha, I guess. They labeled it theta, but cosine. All right, so adjacent over hypotenuse is right there.